All right, and good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's session of Truly Foundation and A Course in Miracles. And I am your host for today, your temporary guide, your temporary teacher, your temporary coach. And it is my goal to point you inwardly away from and into away from the falsity of what we made and into the reality of who we are, the knowing of yourself. And it gives me great pleasure. And I'm so happy and grateful that I get to do this. I get to be this. I get to share this with you. And if you're watching this live or if you're watching this as a replay, it does not matter. This is a Course in Miracle Workbook Lesson 278 that we're going to unpack today. I'm going to add some commentary to it, and then you take it and apply it and embody it in your day. That is the goal. It is the application of these God ideas that you or I or anyone come to know that they are true, and they are true in our life. And so today's lesson, again, taken from lesson 278, is another idea that will help us to be transformed by the renewing of our mind. It will help us to advance ourselves in this mind training that we're involved in. And so the idea for today is, if I am bound, notice it says, if I am bound, that if is there because there is a part that we play. In reality, we're not bound, but we can decide to be bound by not embracing the truth of who we are. Or we can decide that this is who I am. I am as God created me. I am God's highest creation. I was created in love. I was created in the image and the likeness and the very nature and essence of God. I can accept that I'm an infinite, impersonal, and self-aware being. That I'm whole and complete. That I'm missing nothing. And that God has given me all things in creation. And that I am here as an expression of that love, of that infinitude that I am. I'm here as an expression of the abundance of grace and the gift of life that God has given unto all of us. And then that I'm free in God to be the full expression of who I am. That's a decision to be made. Either decision doesn't change the reality. Either this is just that one decision allows you to live a life of freedom and full expression and happiness and joy and peace and abundance. And the other decision allows you to have an experience of falsehood, an experience of feeling separate, an experience in lack, experiencing limitations. And so the choice is ours. Choose you this day who you will serve. You cannot serve two masters. It's just like you can't think two thoughts at the same time. You can't get sweet water and bitter water out of the same source. It is a one or the other. This is a oneness. This is a one of the other exercise. Who or what will you choose for yourself to experience? And so if I am bound, notice now, so the if, it has to do with the choices that we make. If I am bound, if I choose to be bound, it says that my Father is not free. Why is that? So here is an acknowledgement of our oneness with God. In other words, we will experience our God self based on our decision. We can experience our God self as bound, or we can experience our God self as free. The choice is still yours. But God is neither bound nor lacking, nor inferior, or confused, or fearful, or any of those things. That's just what we have chosen to experience. Our God self has. So our decision holds the key to our life. Or to the experience of this experience of life. And so let's see what the text says. If I, this is another if, just an indication that there's a decision to be made. If I accept that I am a prisoner within a body, if I accept that this body, which is very limited, is who I am, that's what he's saying. If we accept the fact that I am this body, what came out of the mother's womb is who I am. If we identify the body as ourselves, he said, if I am a prisoner, that means that we are prisoner to the limitation of a body. We are the prisoner to the idea that of birth and death. We are prisoner to all of the things that can change and flux and flow within a perceptual experience in a perceptual world. That means we're subject to everything, all the limitations of the body, all the beginnings and the endings of the body, and everything in between. It says, if I'm a prisoner to that, in a world in which all things are seen that seem to live appear to die. The body is temporary. The body has a beginning and an expiration date. The body has challenges. The body has exposures. The body is vulnerable to the elements. And it's saying that if I am a prisoner to that, in other words, if that is all I am, and it also says, and not only that, but this body is in a world in which all things that seem to live appear to die. And that's what happens in this temporary perceptual world. Everything that is born to die. Everything that is made eventually decays in this world. Nothing is permanent here, because this is not a permanent world. It's a world of perception. It says, if that's the case, it says, then is my Father prisoner also with me. Then the God of all creation, the God with no limitation, the God of eternity, he said he's imprisoned in that experience with you in this world and in that body. If that's the way we're thinking, if that's the way we're perceiving ourselves as the body in a limited capacity, and we're perceiving the world as a place in which the body has a beginning and an end. And if we're perceiving ourselves as that, it says not only are we imprisoned, but we're also imprisoned the Almighty. So our decision is so important, of knowing who we are, understanding who our Father is, and knowing what this world is about. This experience of life through this journey on earth is about. We need to know. We need to have our perception. We need to have our understanding to be aligned and in harmony with that which is of our Creator and of our God. Otherwise, we will see ourselves, we will see the world that we live in as a place of imprisonment. And we will live within that prison. We would live with the laws of this world. We would live within the limitations of this world. We would live with the idea of sickness and disease and pain and suffering and lack and poverty and depression and fear and anxiety and trepidation and all the other negative things that appear to be real in this world. We will come subject to that. So there's a decision to be made. And this do we believe. When we maintain the laws the world obey, must we obey? We are not subject to the laws of this world. That's what he's saying here. Why? We're only subject to the one law, and that is the law of love. And in the law of love, what happens in this world has nothing to do with our reality. Within the law of love, we understand that this world was made as an attack on reality, and its goal is to keep us deceived in terms of who we are, and to forget who we are, and to keep the memory of God and ourselves from us. That's what this world is designed to do, to get you to buy into it as reality and as truth. To buy into the thought system. And it's done a really good job. It says, this we do believe. When we maintain that the laws of the world obeys, the world obeys, are the same laws that we obey. And that the frailties and the sins which we perceive are real and cannot be escaped. If our perception is limited to the appearances of this world, then that means that we have given our freedom over to the false appearances in this world. We have defined ourselves based on the laws of this world, the laws of birth, the laws of death, and all that is within between. The law of scarcity, the law of poverty, the law of instability, the law of multiplicity, the law that is founded on loss and separation and death. And we are, like Paul says in scripture, we are most men miserable. If that is all we can see, if that is all that we can see, and not see the reality and through the eyes of Christ and through the eyes of God, the ability to look past the falsehood of this world, the appearances of this world, and see heaven's gate, and see reality, and see the truth of who we are, and see the extraordinary gifts that God has given unto us. Yes, that God has given us all things richly to enjoy. It's all about our happiness. And when we wake up to the recognition of these realities, then the world will begin to signal back to us that which we would project on it, which is what we let the world go free of its falsehood. And we see a forgiven world. We forgive the world of its of its error, of its mistake. We forgive ourselves for thinking that we were just subject to the imprisonment of this world. And we embrace our true identity, our oneness with God and with all living things. We have made that decision. It is a quality decision. It's an irrevocable decision. Why would one not want to make that decision and be happy? And so, if I am bound in any way, because in God there is freedom. Where the Spirit of God is, and God's Spirit is everywhere, there is liberty. There's freedom. There's absolute ecstasy because of the knowing. And so this life becomes a life of experience in the knowing of God, in the knowing of our true selves. And we begin to allow the freedom that we have to be expressed in every moment by letting the world go free, letting our brothers, our sisters, all living things go free and be free from the illusion of separation, of sin consciousness, guilt, and fear. We no longer judge, but we see the face of Christ in everything and in everyone, and remember God and remember ourselves. And if I am bound in any way, I do not know my Father nor myself. Any acceptance that we are anything other than what God created, any acceptance of that, is to bind ourselves and to bind our Creator and to bind your experience of your reality. Do we see what we can do to ourselves? But more importantly, can we see that we can walk in the reality of our true self by not accepting anything that is not in the creation of God? So it says, and I am lost to all reality if I accept anything that is not a part of my creation. For truth is free. Truth is free. Truth is free, or freedom. And what is bound is not a part of truth. And so we see, if I'm bound, my Father is not free. But truth is free. And what is bound is not a part of truth. And so today we choose truth and truth alone. We choose that which is real and real alone. Because that which is real cannot be threatened or bound or limited. So this is our declaration of independence, our declaration of freedom today. So Father, the Father of all, the Father of freedom, the Father of all light, the Father of love, we ask for nothing but the truth. We have made many foolish thoughts about ourselves and about our creation, foolish thoughts, and have brought a dream of fear into our minds. We did this to ourselves. But today, we will not dream. We choose the way to you instead of madness and instead of fear. To choose to be bound is to choose madness and fear. And that's what we observe in the world. That's what we have experienced in our own life. And when we have experienced it, now you know you're experiencing that because you have chosen. You have chosen that. You have chosen that instead of choosing for the truth that is true always about you and about all humanity and about this world. So choose you this day the truth that sets you free. For truth is safe, and only love is sure. So the truth is the safety that we desire and the love that we desire to experience. It is in the truth that is true always. You say, well, Oliver, what is the truth? That you and God are one. That God created you. And you remain as God created you, as a formless and timeless being. You are an infinite and you are an impersonal, and you are a self-aware being, the same being that God is. You share everything with God and with all living things. There is no separation. There's only the one love, the one life, the one self, the one being that we all share. That's only the unity of the oneness, that we're all joined as one. That is the truth that sets you free. And so with that, you are not subject to the laws. You're not subject to the limitations. You're not subject to the limitations of this world. You're only subject to the one law, and that is the law of God, or the law of love, which sets us free. There's liberty in your creation. There's liberty in your true identity, in your true self. You are not what was born on a birth date with a government name and a government number. That's not what you are. That's what you are aware of, that you now have the opportunity to express this freedom through that incarnation, through that body, and to relate with other bodies. Not as other bodies are maybe unaware of their truth, but to relate to other bodies from a place of truth and reality. You become the light of the world. You become the symbol of forgiveness. You become God's masterpiece. You become God's spokesman to help others to wake up to the reality of their true self. That's what it's all about. Therefore, your life has deep meaning and good purpose. Therefore, you are experiencing the happiness and the joy and the peace and the fulfillment and the infinite, boundless, abundant life that Jesus said, I came that you may have this instead of that, and have it what? More abundantly. That's what he meant. Not something when you get this, when the body is finally laid down. That's not when that began. It begins now, when you make the decision right now that you are that which God is, that I am that I am. Oh my God. I and the Father are one, and we're free to live, free to be, free to share, free to give, free to create, free to heal. That's what we are. We are the freedom, the symbol of freedom, of liberty, equality, and justice for all. That's what our life represents. Is that what your life represents? Who do you say that you are? Are you the Christ? Are you the creation of God? Very yes, you are. Thank you so much. This is lesson 278, and it's very sweet. How sweet it is to be loved by this God of freedom and to walk in that freedom. Have a great day. We'll see you on tomorrow. Bye-bye.